right, so we're here continuing our ninth annual Couch Coach Live NFL preview. So this tonight we'll be previewing the San Francisco 49ers. Had to bring in my guy Jason. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to be here, Chris. Thanks a lot for having me. And I got to tell you something. You just got me all hyped up with that intro right there. That is solid, man. That's hot right there. I love it.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And it's funny. The last time that we talked was we guys made your Super Bowl appearance. Yeah, in 20 in the against Kansas City.
Yep.
Back when the world was normal. So it's been a while. So
real
a lot has changed, but definitely glad you coming on tonight, and we'll talk about the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so obviously, another great offseason for the offseason been a little tricky. We got somewhat of a situation going on in San Francisco. So to talk about the offseason, and then also what do you think the team's biggest acquisition this offseason was?
All right, no doubt. But yeah, again, Chris, thanks for having me on, man. I can't wait to talk some football with you. And you picking me for the Niners, just a beautiful thing. I just wish I had my jersey on to represent a little bit more,
Okay.
But. Yeah, you're right. It hasn't been the greatest offseason. Look, we didn't have a pick until the 61st pick in the draft, and we drafted a good guy in Drake Jackson. We know our defensive line is our bread and butter, defensive line and offensive line for the most part. That's how we're able to win games, win at the line of scrimmage. So getting Drake Jackson, defensive end out of USC, is sweet. I love that because Javon Kinlaw is coming back, and Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead. And unfortunately, one of those guys are going to go down, or two of those guys are going to go down. So to have that depth is great. But as far as probably the best offseason acquisition we made was definitely Charvarius Ward, the former cornerback for the Chiefs, because we've had a rough go in the secondary, man, for a long time. And I could talk about it for a while, but I don't want to bore you to death. So I'll just be like this. We've been getting eaten up. All right, we've been getting eaten up. Corners, safeties, everything. Jason Verrett has been in and out of the lineup. If he can stay in, I'll be extremely happy. But having Ward as one of them guys who can really – I'm not going to say lock down anybody, but he's one of those guys who will play single coverage. He doesn't really need much help over the top. So I'm liking the fact that we're going to have a corner there that can hopefully at least come with somewhere near shutting down one side of the field. So we could play maybe a little zone and over the top on the other side where we're going to have either, again, Verrett if he's healthy, or Emmanuel Mosley who's going to need help. So it goes on and on. So I do like that pick right there. I like that move. I'm glad they did something.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see. So going into this, the 49ers season, what do you think? Your thoughts on what's the biggest storyline heading to the season?
I think it's an obvious one, man. Trey Lance is the biggest storyline, there's no doubt. But that will go hand in hand with the offensive line because we lost Lake and Tomlinson, so we're having a couple of problems up front. But it's all about Trey Lance right now because you've seen what Jimmy G can do or what he can't do, really, for the most part, and that is get us over the hump. Yes, granted, he was on the team that helped us along in 2019, but it's because of him that we didn't win that game against the Chiefs. He's got to complete some passes, win the game, let's go. So bottom line is we spent all this draft capital, 3 draft picks on Trey Lance. If the pressure's not on him, it's on John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. It's on the organization for this to work out. Because if it doesn't work out, that's a major bust because we have a ready-made team to go do it right now, Chris. We are ready to win. And Trey Lance, we believe that guy is who's going to bring in that extra dynamic. He's got a better arm than Garoppolo. He's more accurate. He's definitely more of an athlete than him. So I'm picturing bringing in these RPOs with Elijah Mitchell and, again, like Lamar Jackson does, and hopefully Lance can take off because he can run. So all these different dynamics that he brings, it's going to have to come out. But I'll tell you right now, man, I'm not going to freak out if I don't see it week 2, 3, 4. We're going to start seeing around 6, 7, 8. Week 8, we'll start to see what Trey Lance is really all about, and then hopefully we can go on a run. So he's the biggest X factor this season, man. It's him.
Yeah, big time. So, your thoughts, more so the outlook on your team's offense. Your thoughts on the offense and for the 49ers this year.
Yeah, well, Lance definitely fits what we want to do. There's no question. That's why we brought him in. And we saw, again, we were able to win with Jimmy Garoppolo being just a statue type of quarterback, can't complete a ball downfield. So now with Lance in there, again, it opens up so much more. Kyle Shanahan, his offense is predicated on the run. We run, whether it's reverses, end arounds, up the middle, sweeps, dives, whatever you want to call it. And then we work the play action off of that. So the way that this is going to go down is that Lance is going to be that extra threat, that 11th guy that defense is going to have to say, you know what, he can hold on to the ball and he can run with it. He may pull it back and take it away, or it may go up the middle to Elijah Mitchell. And you know what? That's great. That's a wonderful problem to give defenses, that two-headed kind of monster. Defenses hate that, defensive coordinators. It's an absolute nightmare. So a lot of good's going to happen, but here's the kicker, Chris. Here's the big part. Like I said, we lost Laken Tomlinson. Alex Mack retired, who was an all-time center, probably going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. He was with the Falcons for a long time and with the Browns. So now we bring in Aaron Banks, who's going to have to start in his second year. Daniel Brunskill's going to have to step up. Jake Brendel's going to play center. And for anybody listening, I know you don't know these names because they're not household names. Not many offensive linemen are, but we need those guys to play well. We need them to be able to run block and push the defensive line back. We need them to be able to pass block and give Trey Lance a minute to get the ball downfield to Ayuk or George Kittle, or hopefully Deebo Samuel is going to remain on the team. So it's going to go through Lance, and again, he gives us that whole extra dynamic of being able to run the ball out of the pocket, break plays, run with it, gain an extra 8 yards on first down. So there's so much that goes along with him, but we're going to have to wait a little bit to see it, I think. He's going to need a little more time.
Yep. And so definitely now want your thoughts on the other side of the ball, on the defense. Your thoughts on the outlook of this team's defense this year.
Defense has always been our thing, man. That's the reason why we've been to 2 NFC championships in the last 4 years. And like I said, Ward is going to be huge. He's going to help the secondary. I really hope that Jason Feirman can come back and stay healthy. But Jimmy Ward and Talanoa Hufanga, I'm trying to pronounce that correctly for everybody out there, those are our safeties, and that's where I have a problem. So I wanted them to go out and get Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus Williams, Justin Reed. Any one of those safeties I would have been extremely happy with. They had the capital to do it, whether not draft capital, but money, literal money to do it. And they didn't pull the trigger. So that does bother me, which means that our defensive line, like I mentioned, bring in Drake Johnson from USC and Eric Armstead and Nick Bosa. We're going to have to rush 4. We're going to have to get to the quarterback with just 4 so we can help out in the secondary. So that's where, again, my worry is, not on Ward's side, but on the other side and deep balls over the middle that Jimmy Ward just has not been able to keep up with. So I'm worried there. But, again, at the same time, a great defensive line will make a secondary look a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we know, obviously, it's a 17-game season.
Yeah.
And it's, so give me one or maybe potentially 2 games that you got circled on your calendar.
All right. Yeah, I definitely have a couple. I think it starts for me with week 13, and that's going to be against the Saints. All right. That game is, I think, November 27th against the Saints. And I think the Saints are going to be better than what people think, especially going up against that defense. So it starts there. I circle that game, and then I look a couple of weeks down the road at the Bucs. The Bucs, we have week 15, I believe it is. That's going to be our true test to say, all right, we're ready to go into the playoffs. We got this. We have our confidence up. If they win that game, they win it clean. They win it the right way against Tampa Bay or Tampa Brady, whatever the hell you want to call it. Then I think the 49ers are going to be looking really good and really strong going to the postseason. So those are the 2 games, and they happen to be NFC South teams that I'm looking forward to playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously after that Tampa Bay date, hey, you got the Commanders coming in on Christmas Eve. So
That's right. That's right. I like that. I can't wait. We'll command them all game long. I love that. Then we got the Cardinals, the last game. I don't know what they're going to be. The Seahawks, we have week 16. Great. Let's go. Come on, Geno Smith or Drew Lock. Bring it on, man.
Right.
Please. Or take Jimmy Garoppolo, even better. Go ahead. Take him. We'll give him to you. We have no problem with that.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting as far as who's going to, the market for him. I mean, it's to a point where it's kind of, it's to a point where Josh Rosen got signed the other day.
I can't believe that, man. Are you kidding me? This guy's been on more teams than he's been alive. It's unbelievable.
I know. And it's like he's an NFL journeyman, and he's only been in the league for this will be his 5th season?
Yeah.
So it's like
he's like 17 years old, Chris. It's crazy. It's
It's crazy, but yeah, it is so crazy.
Unbelievable.
So, right.
And Colin Kaepernick can't get a job, right? Come on. We're not going to go down that road, but for real, give me a break.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. It's kind of one of the things where it's a telltale sign of kind of how the league is run. Like
You
I
got
said,
it, man.
it's about the money.
Hmm.
Yep, it's all about.
And the politics. We got to look
Yep,
good. All this. Come on, give me a
yep,
break. I don't want to hear that.
yep, and it all boils down to the money because the ones who are paying those season tickets, the jerseys, and all that, they don't want that. So that's
That's
why
right.
he's right. I mean, hey, we got to keep it a buck because that's how. I mean, pretty much that's how it rolls. Honestly, So
You're a smart guy, Chris. You know exactly what you're talking about, bro. You know it.
yeah, it's just
Protect the shield. Protect the shield. Oh God.
the shield is green.
Yeah. Right.
The
Yes.
shield is green.
Yes, it is. It is not red, white, and blue. You got it.
Exactly, and I keep and that's why we always got to keep that. They're in the entertainment business for a reason.
Mm-hmm. You
And
got it.
hey,
You got it.
unless that's the only perspective that you got to keep, honestly, because like you'll just be blue in the face trying to explain things like
Exactly. No, it's impossible.
you definitely know, Jason, like
Oh,
how it rolls down. Yep.
yeah. And look, and bottom line is, if you're a star, if you could play, you're coming back to the league. Look, Michael Vick went to jail, and they say, you know what, this guy is so damn good. We don't care. He brings butts to the seats. We're signing him. So you're exactly right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, and but yeah, absolutely, and it is what it is, and hey, they, it is what it is. So
It
I got
is.
to ask you
It
the
is.
$60 million question.
Mm.
2022, the San Francisco 49ers will finish.
I'm gonna have to say 11-6, man. I'm gonna have to go 11-6. I want to say better. Look, last year they were 10-7, so I am talking a game better, and that is with Trey Lance, who's basically coming in as a rookie. But I'm looking at Seattle. We should be able to beat them twice. Probably split with the Rams and Cardinals. And like you mentioned, we have a few games that we should really clean up. Our schedule is not that tough. We play a few tough games again toward the end, like we mentioned. Even Miami, who I think is going to be tough, but the Niners should be able to pull out 10, 11 wins. I was looking at their schedule, and you know what, Chris? We all make that mistake. We look at the schedule, we're like win, win, loss, win, win, win. We don't really know how these teams are going to. Teams change every single year. They're like, whoa, they were 3-13 last year. Now they're in the Super Bowl. Like, what are you kidding me? Like look at the Bengals. Something like that. So it's hard to do it that way, but I tried to be as realistic as possible. I'm like, you know what? I think they're such a strong team, and Trey Lance will get it by week 8, where they may run the table after that from week 9 on. So that's why I'm going about 11 wins, but it'll be shaky in the beginning.
Yeah, and like you said, it's one of the things where like we all look at that and we think to ourselves, "Oh, this is a win on the column," and then it always balances out because always a game where you think you're gonna win, like in May when the schedule release, you'll lose that game, and then it's a game that you look like, oh no, like we're not gonna be able to win. It's a cross country team. We're going cross country or
Exactly.
back to back. As far as we got a game on Sunday, then it's a Thursday, a quick turnaround, and you might end up being undefeated win 2 games in 5 days.
It's true. You're right.
Draw.
I mean, hey, look, we got Chicago week 1, Seattle week 2, and then we play the Falcons and the Panthers all within the first 6 games. I expect us to win all those games, but it probably ain't going to happen. I got to be realistic about it.
Yeah, and that's good for Trey Lance to kind of, like you said, get a good gauge of how he is early on, and it kind of gives not saying that they are, as far as they're bad teams, but I mean they're not the powerhouse of the league. So it's like you get a good barometer and maybe give him some good confidence too. Like if he performs well in those games, so.
You're exactly right. That, and again, confidence, is such a tremendous thing. Just stepping out on the field and getting into the huddle and looking at, the other 10 guys' eyes, all 20 eyes that are on you and saying, we're going down the field, we're going to do this thing. So you're right. Building up that confidence early on, those first 4 out of 6 games that are really, you want to call them cupcake games or whatever. And again, it may not turn out that way, but you're right. That's the way you want to start. Give him the easiest possible, lead into where it's, it'll get tougher down the line. But yeah, let him, let him get going with some of those other teams. So I'm all for it. The schedule is working out in that way for us, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, most definitely. So we'll put a bow on the San Francisco 49ers preview. So Jason, definitely appreciate you for taking time out your schedule for coming on this preview. Any upcoming projects? Any plug away? What you got?
I appreciate that, man. And listen, I'll come on your show anytime. Chris, you come calling, man, I'm there, bro. And I'm definitely going to have you on soon, whether it's my solo show, which is the Power 32 podcast, and that's really just me going over all 32 teams and some sort of aspect of listing of rankings, whether it's wide receivers or quarterback, wide receiver duo. It was a whole bunch of stuff. But the bread and butter, baby, is 3rd and 3 podcast every Wednesday night with Damian and Nikki. We have an amazing, amazing time. We don't write anything down. There's no script. There's no rehearsal. And that's why we have so much fun. And we make fun of each other, and it's all out of love, and it's all just off the dome. So every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, you can catch the 3 of us there, 3rd and 3 podcast. And go to 3rd and 3podcast.com. We got all our shows there. L.A. Broadus is now writing for us. We brought in a couple of new guys. They're going to be writing. They're going to be making guest appearances on the show. So, yeah, big things are happening, man. And I appreciate you giving me an opportunity and the platform to say that.
Yeah, most definitely. Definitely a huge shout out to Damien and Nikki, so definitely a huge shout out to them as well. And yeah, man, like you said, we'll definitely, all, link up as far as guys come on the pod as well too. So yeah, we'll find a way. That's the beautiful thing about it. Hey, we'll do that.
We got a nice long football season to make it happen, man. You know we're gonna do it. You know it.
Yeah, right, absolutely. We definitely do.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, once again, man, Jason, appreciate you for coming on and previewing the 49ers.
Thank you, sir. The pleasure was all mine, my friend.
Thank you. And hey, we'll catch you guys on the next episode of our team previews. We'll catch you next go.